Hey, BFL Show Week 6. Hi, Mike. What's up?
I am pumped to be here, John.
Yes, yes. Um, it's kind of crazy to have this show going on right now. Waivers are going to go through tonight, so we're going to kind of do our best to make sense of what lineups are in there, and knowing there probably going to be some changes, especially with like the landscape of football changing every minute.
Yeah, no Thursday night football this week, which shouldn't be anyways. It's a sham. But yeah, definitely the Tuesday night thing was wild, and it just every week's a new adventure. So
I love Tuesday night. Two reasons. I think Matthew Berry like tweeted this. Maybe I'm stealing from him. I like that the game started early, so I didn't have to stay up until like 11:30, like rehashing the game in my brain. It was done early. Number
yes,
two, think about it. The player like if a regular Thursday night game to get ready for the next week's, that's a shorter duration than if you play Tuesday night to get ready for
Mhm.
Sunday. So I think Tuesday night might have a future for us in the NFL. Okay, well let's talk about the BFL. Nice job, Big Philly style. Hey, that's a big blowout.
It is a big blowout. 438 is not a big number. That would have lost to a lot of other teams, but you got to play the team that's in front of you, and that ain't good.
Was that a Joe Burrow led squad or a Deshaun Watson led? Moving forward. Nice job, Phil. Keep it up. Get him next time, Tiger. All right. Dang, look at this.
Ooh,
Spotless, pristine.
ooh, ooh.
Um, too bad this four is over here next to the moves you've made. But
Oh no.
who needs moves when you're a draft master?
I wouldn't say that. It's worked out fairly well for me. I just think back to that decision I had a couple years ago where I was a big Corey Davis fan, but ultimately decided to go with Derrick Henry as the first keeper pick, and how happy I am with that choice. Even though I haven't got to play him the last couple weeks, seeing him throw Josh Norman halfway across America was a reminder of why I love that dude.
I wouldn't
So
want to be the guy who had to take Corey Davis in the 8th round instead of Derrick Henry. But oh wait, that was me. Oh, that was a sick play by Henry. He's such a man, dude.
yeah, for sure.
He is a man, dude. All right. Just some NFL stuff. Welcome back, Alex Smith. Do they immediately give Alex Smith the Comeback Player of the Year award and change the name of the award to the Alex Smith Comeback Player of the Year award? I hope so.
um, Especially if he has a good game or two. He was in an impossible situation, but so inspiring to see after seeing that E60 and the pictures of his leg. Just the fact that he was even out there is incredible.
Right on.
Love
I
it.
do hate the fact that he gave up like 4 sacks to Aaron Donald, which ended up really sinking my ship this week. But well done, Alex Smith. Jared Goff running the show for the Balls First squad. Say
Hey,
no.
I'll roll with the golf all year if I have to.
Fitzmagic.
Hmm.
I was watching some of that game, and he is a joy. He is a pleasure to watch. But watching and they've got the bye coming up though, and so we may have seen the end of him if they want to give Tua a try. He's like one bad game away from I think Tua time.
But I think that his team really likes playing with him, and Tua
Absolutely.
hasn't. Tua hasn't taken a hit in practice. I don't see any reason to rush Tua into it. I really don't. Miami actually plays hard. They play good, competitive football. So I don't know.
Right on. And then Romeo, good win. Houston's off
Yeah,
the schneid.
yeah,
Yeah, there
good
you
for
go.
them.
Good for them. Yeah, who cares? This guy. Why is he important to us?
Well, I asked you to put this in here. Obviously, Christian McCaffrey is the number one fantasy player. Fantasy dominates the way we talk about player rankings. He's obviously a 99 on Madden. Even though I think there are better players at the position, he's very versatile, very solid, and one of those get a game changer type plays on a fantasy team. But in looking into this, as I was, in trade talks to try and acquire him, and then he was obviously traded to Drew this week, I started looking back at like some history with him because obviously I have Mike Davis, who's been going off as the running back 3 since McCaffrey's been out, and they've been winning since he's been out. And I looked, McCaffrey started to go crazy 2 years ago, halfway through the season. At the time, the Panthers were 6-2. They finished the year 1-7, missed the playoffs. McCaffrey was going nuts, but they weren't winning. Then the next year, obviously Cam, some stuff was going on there, but McCaffrey was still doing his thing, and they weren't winning. And this year he started off, had a couple nice games, but they weren't winning. Now that he's out, Mike Davis is performing just as well, and they're winning. So I think even when he comes back, I think that he won't be that bell cow that gets 30 touches a game anymore. I don't think he should. I don't think anybody should be used that much in today's NFL. I just thought it was really interesting. It's when you think about how great a player is and what he contributes to his team, it doesn't always translate to team success. So it's running backs are the most important in fantasy, but maybe not in the NFL these days.
Yeah, it's really crazy and really interesting because you've got Mike Davis who's just balling out, and I think he has like established and solidified himself a role for when McCaffrey comes back.
He's earned 8 to 10 touches a game for sure.
Yeah, I was listening to Brian Baldinger does a podcast, and he was just talking about all the really, really good things that Matt Rule is doing, and he's one of my like, I'm kind of I'm closing in on a man crush status for Matt Rule in Tampa. I'm not ready to like confirm it. So I don't know what's that. It's complicated. The Facebook status complicated with Matt Rule. So and that backfield might get complicated when McCaffrey comes back. But I think because how really, really good Davis has been playing.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Moving forward, the award everyone's been waiting for. Nate got a 50 burger from his kicker this week. Are you serious? I like, claw and scratch to get guys to score 40 points, and he gets a 50 burger from his kicker?
That can't be real.
Dejas Award of Excellence. And then holy shit, Kyle, 3 points. Like, that's a terrible score. I'm sorry that happened to you, Kyle. I'm really sorry that happened to you. We've seen that we got Jalen Elliott making 2 appearances on this list, so might be time to make the old cut bait there. Moving on. If you guys want to pause and like really like study the screen longer, feel free. Let's go. We're looking at the standings going into week 6. Remember, no Thursday night football. Drew is just loading up. He thinks he can take down balls first, and maybe when the divisional matchups come. Nate is just clinging to life here, and Kyle's lagging behind in the artillery. You want to say anything about this division? Your division?
Seems to be kind of a 2-horse race now. Pretty excited to have a 2-game lead. Even if we split the head-to-head, that still leaves him 2 more games to make up. So, yeah, hopefully we can squeeze out a couple more here before division play.
Things are looking good for balls first. If you can get 1 more game, it's kind of ready to think about like loading up on players for the fantasy or the playoff schedule. If hopefully we get to the playoffs. Come on, COVID, go away. Cavalry. Again, this division is so tight. I feel terrible for Ben and the injuries he had with Dak, and I'm a really big Dalvin Cook fan, so I hope he comes back really fast. Like we were talking on the chat, you got to get him on the David Montgomery groin rehab plan. Ryan has Russell Wilson, so that dude could win you a game by himself. And then I still think I did the poll for week 6 really early. I gave Brigadier's Brigade a real high grade just because, we got kind of inside his mind last week and on the podcast here on the show, and he knows what he's doing, and I've kind of communicated with him a little bit this week, trying to work out a trade, but we haven't hit home yet. And so this division, we haven't even talked about Phil, who's in first place with Lamar Jackson having a down year. Imagine when Lamar heats up, man.
Yeah, it's by far again the most intriguing. Brian's really come on strong. Maybe a little of the BFL show karma rubbing off there. Yep. Again, but you think back to close matchups and things like that could have gone this way or that way. Yeah, Ben's in a tough spot. We didn't talk about Dak in the opening. We usually talk about injured players. That was one of the most heartbreaking things I've seen on a field in a long time for a guy that, even though everybody likes to root against the Cowboys and the Cowboys quarterback is so scrutinized, you can't deny his ability. And he's a great young man. He really is. And to see his emotion, I was sick that the camera kept following him all the way back into the tunnel. So I hope Dak comes back and strong. But that's really gonna hurt Ben's chances. And then Cook pulls up lame, and all of a sudden his two best players are now, looking like he may not even get to play. Well, obviously Dak's out for the year, but it doesn't look like Cook's gonna play this week. So that's brutal. But yeah,
yeah, for the first time in like 3 weeks, Justin Jefferson looked like a human again instead of like possessed by Randy Moss and Jerry Rice, some sort of conglomerate. So yeah, Ben got nailed this week. That sucks. I was actually grilling when Dak got hurt, so I was like in and out of the house. I saw him go down, but I didn't like pay attention too much to the aftermath of it. I don't really know anybody who's like Dak's a jerk or like I can't stand Dak's personality. I don't think that exists. I think he was awesome in what he was saying about like suicide with his brother. It was his brother, right? During the offseason. It was pretty cool. So I root for that guy, even though I don't like the Cowboys at all. So that's
for sure.
I also lost him in a different league, but that has nothing to do with it. All right, infantry division. Dom is dominating, but Steel Reserves are only 12 points behind in total score, 400 points more scored against. But that record, man, I don't know if I can make up those games. Especially, I think Seth is still really good because Seth's going to get back, Rodgers this week off the bye, and Adams is healthy again. So Seth's going to be a beast in the division games too. Mike is in selling mode, and so we got that going for us. But Dom's got to have another hiccup for us to be able to catch him, I think.
Yeah, he doesn't look as invincible as he did a couple weeks ago. That's for sure. But look at that. That points against is really low. So he's, again, timing and fortune. So he's been able to weather this storm. And he's got a two game lead right now as well. But yeah, Seth is hot on his trail. Seth has a nice balanced team. So yeah, I could see that becoming an interesting race. And then you'll be there. And then Mustache even has a few pieces to potentially play spoiler, which is always fun later in the year, which you may not see that with like White Thunder in our division or Blizzard now with Dak and Dak being out, may not have as much chance to play spoiler. So that division could come down to an upset, in week 13 or whatever that changes the tide and momentum.
Yeah,
so it'll be fun.
Those division games are going to be a bloodbath. We were kind of talking before we started the recording about there's a curse and a beauty of having these division games at the end, and everybody kind of like feels like they still have a chance. And I think a lot of at least 3 teams in this division, probably do have a chance. All right, matchup time.
Yep.
Boom shakalaka.
Ooh.
There's a little ditty at the top here. Have you picked up a kicker yet?
No, I'm waiting. I'm not going to
make
no
a free agent yet, are there?
So.
You're going to burn one on a kicker tonight? I think you better.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick up all the kickers so you can't have any.
Tom Tupa.
Yes. We'll go ahead and call it game of the year because it's obviously game of the year.
Save the best for last.
Oh, you want to save this one, or should we talk?
We can talk about it.
All right. The Steel Reserves are going up to Beloit this weekend to play the Balls First team at Telfer Park. Let me just go ahead and pull up our matchup here on my old iPad.
I got a sad face next to you. Got Kyler Murray playing versus Dallas. That horrible Dallas defense, and Kyler's just licking his chops, ready to put up big numbers. It's like, even though you don't have a ton of depth and you got Zach Moss, who's questionable in the lineup as of right now, like even if he plays, he's going to be splitting. So it's like, there's a couple weak spots, but still the matchups you do have are pretty tasty. So it's actually kind of a bad week to play against you. So I'm a little nervous about that. For myself, I have David Montgomery or Mike Davis. Mike Davis against Chicago or Montgomery against Carolina. Montgomery has the better matchup, but Davis is the better player. I'm going to be kicking myself about that one all weekend. Is Philip Lindsay going to start? Is Melvin Gordon going to get in trouble from this DUI? If Melvin Gordon doesn't go, does Philip Lindsay dominate the carries, or do they work in Royce Freeman? One guy on my bench, he's not getting in the lineup this week, but I'm really happy about Chase Edmonds. Looks like his stock is going up. He could be a player. A lot of the talk around him is that basically any reason they have to give him the opportunity to become running back one, he's probably going to have his chance sooner rather than later this year. But the big question mark for me right now is what's Amari Cooper's role going to look like now with Andy Dalton, and they still have CeeDee Lamb, who looks like a stud, and also Michael Gallup. If they're not going to be throwing it 50 times, which I don't think they will with Dalton. And then Cooper was not really part of the game plan last week. He was barely even targeted early on. By far his lowest output of the season. So I see it as a toss-up this week. It should be a close game.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down. Finally, I have a player that scores a lot of points on a Monday night instead of me like having a big lead and getting run down. So thank God. But then, you've got Cooper and Travis Kelce in the early game of the Monday night doubleheader. So, and you have Stephon Diggs. Oh my God, Monday's going to be wild. So that's pretty fun. We all know that Zach Moss won't make it into my lineup, my final starting lineup on come Monday night, regardless of whether he's healthy or not. I don't think I can play him there. I have no idea what to do in that spot right now. Can I ask about why is Brian Poole always projected for 11 points? That drives me crazy.
I don't know. He's been putting up solid statistics.
I know he gets 40 points a game, and he's an 11 projected every week.
He was a free agent pickup, and he's I usually don't start corners, but he's just bad enough to.
How are you going to have Landon Collins on your bench all year? Dude is a stud too. But I don't blame you because Walker and Poole are point machines. So I'm trying.
Yeah, I started Collins last week, and he had one of his worst games. So oh well.
Gotcha. I really hope Miles Jack is okay because he's been playing really, really good this year. He was out last week. I'm probably going to cut Matt Milano because he has a slightly torn pec, but I think that's bad when you're a linebacker and you have to tackle people like this. And
yeah.
So I'm hoping. Here's my hope is that I hope Monday night is fun, and tense and all that. So that means we've given each other a good run for our money.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Dirtballs and the Detroit Blizzard. I don't blame Ben for not making any changes yet because I'd be heartbroken too about my team. So I'm not really sure where he's going to go or what he's going to do. What do you think?
Yeah, if he just plugs in the guys from his bench, I put his projection around 350-ish.
Okay, gotcha. Nate made the pickup Nate made a great pickup last week finding Gardner Minshew, who put up over 60 and just straight up benched Matt Ryan. That was a nice move by Nate because Ryan put up a dud. We'll see who he's got. He's got Minshew still in there against Detroit. Might not be the worst move. Just kind of looking over it. Ben lost Chandler Jones too. I didn't even realize that.
Chandler Jones is out for the year. Dak's out for the year. Cook, I have a frowny face next to Cook. He looks like he's not going to play. Mark Ingram hasn't been the player he's accustomed to being. They haven't really been run heavy and with success in Baltimore. Deontay Johnson, who you just highlighted last week,
came
back, got hurt again.
He didn't break it. Yeah.
Well, and then Claypool is going crazy. And then but I do have stock up next to Darrell Henderson for Ben. Looks like he's becoming a nice player for them out there with Cam Akers being hurt. And so that's a nice little 50 point guy in a Rams offense that's looked pretty good. For dirt balls, yeah, it's Minshew mania for dirt balls. That was a good move because Matt Ryan's been that guy for so many years. It's just going to put up points no matter what, and they just man, they're what a crappy situation. You wonder how different things would be if they could actually hold a lead. You know what I mean? What their mental state would be like. We'll see what they do with the coaching change. Kamar's on a bye for dirt balls. That's his big, hammer. So I got dirt balls as a de facto winner. But this is kind of stinker of a matchup, which like sometimes that happens in like Sunday Night Football when like they're like, oh, this midseason matchup's gonna look great, and then by the time you get there, it's like, oh, like a couple weeks ago, if I looked ahead, oh man, this is gonna be a tasty matchup, and it's like you look at like the guys that are off, the guys that are hurt, it's like, yeah, this is a weird looking matchup.
Yeah, Nate's running backs right now are Fournette and Devontae Freeman, which you don't want to be in that position. But
no,
I guess he's catching a big break, not having to face Cook or Prescott. So, yeah, pretty low scoring. We'll see what kind of moves Ben makes. I don't have a pick here because I want to see what Ben's going to do.
Okay.
All right, Big Phil and Mustache you a poll.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
I like Philly in this one, but like after the trades go through, I was looking at Mustache. Like it's actually kind of could be upset special here. He's got a solid lineup. Cam's coming back. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, nice. That's big.
Cam will be back this week. He's expected to start. He'll probably plug in James Robinson over J.K. Dobbins. He'll probably plug in David Johnson over his flex tight end. And they'll have a decent lineup in spots. Philly, obviously, with Lamar and Hopkins there. Ronald Jones has actually had 2 straight games over 100-plus yards. And playing Green Bay, who hasn't been great, but they are getting Kenny Clark back, and they should be fresh and healthy. The unknown with Melvin Gordon, he's got Chris Carson on a bye. He did make the trade for Singletary. Nothing flashy, but definitely not going to hurt you. And one guy, as much as I hated him as a player in Green Bay because he's just not athletic enough to cover, but Blake Martinez has scored between 40 and 47 points every single week for Phil. He scored no fewer than 40 and no greater than 47. Pencil him in for 40-plus every week, and, man, you would love that out of any defensive player.
Right. One guy that goes way under the radar, I think, is for Phil is Jamison Crowder. I was hearing some analysis on him is that Adam Gase is had a pretty rotten track record with like wins and losses and other decisions, but he always comes up with a stud slot receiver. Think about like Eddie Royal with the Bears back in the day. He put up a huge year. Or even Eddie Royal with the Broncos. I think Gase was involved in that. He's Jarvis Landry, I believe. Maybe that's not even a Gase guy. I could be completely wrong, but Adam Gase gets a slot receiver going, and this year it's Crowder. There you go.
Soft spot. I have a soft spot for Eddie Royal. I had a terrible draft after I won the championship, and like my first 2 moves where I picked up Kurt Warner and Eddie Royal as free agents, and they were – and I ended up winning again, like that's basically sick. Off those 2, just like going crazy.
Yep.
So I'll always have a soft spot for Eddie Royal.
So I'm saying, guys, Jamison Crowder could be a reason that Phil makes a little noise or kind of locks up a division championship if he stays hot.
Jamison Crowder from the University of
Florida?
Duke?
Yeah. Fascinating. All right, White Thunder against Dom. Blowout alert.
White Thunder's 336 plus his tight end that he's inevitably going to have to pick up and start or leave it blank. I don't know what he's going to do. Duke Johnson, Kerryon Johnson possibly in the lineup. Le'Veon got cut, so he can't start him. It's not looking good. He's in sell mode, and rightfully so. I don't see this guy winning a matchup for the rest of the year. So But you never know. You put a lineup out there, and crazy things can happen. For Dom, it looks like DJ Chark is just going to be one of those guys that doesn't stay healthy this year. It's really too bad. Josh Allen finally came back to earth a little bit this week. Man, the Titans look good. But 55, which is a solid score, but it's not MVP pace like he was at. But Dom's definitely going to have enough and should win this one pretty handily.
Right. Yeah, definitely some chinks in the armor. Is that racist to say?
I don't think so.
Okay. Definitely. So some holes in the ship, I think, for Dom that he's got to patch up finally. Josh Allen, exactly. Josh Allen, DJ Chark, all the things you just said. He's not a super team anymore, but he's very, very good and very, very deep. So he's one of the top guys. Give him his props. Moving forward to Brigadier's Brigade and Cadillac Crew.
Yeah.
Game of the year potential here, besides ours. Yeah.
Agreed. Those projections are going to be way different after the trades go through. And Brigadier, he's going to need a quarterback. So unfortunately for him, it's not Tua time. Herbert and Breeze are both on a bye.
I didn't even realize that. Holy crap.
So he's got 3 quarterbacks, but he's still going to need one more. So he's going to have to add a quarterback. I think for his lineup, I think this week with the matchups, I think I like Gibson over Mixon this week. Mixon, I know, had a big week for him, but I called that out too, where he had a tasty matchup. He had a bad matchup this week. Gibson is looking like the RB1 for sure there. I think he'll get some chances, especially, depending on the quarterback situation. Brandon Cooks, you talked about him last week not being that guy, but man, he came out in a big way. 8 for $161.
You must watch this show
because he's got DJ Moore against the Bears, tougher defense, and he's got OBJ against the Colts, really tough defense. So I think maybe slide Cooks in over, he talked about it last week. He's going to have those tough decisions every week. This week's going to be no different. For Caddy, he's got Patty Mahomes, of course, but the running backs he just acquired, CMC's not going to play. Josh Jacobs is on a bye. He traded Johnson Robinson. So I have no idea who his running backs are going to be. Maybe Jerry Jeudy gets a start this week over Mecole possibly, because Buffalo, even though they look vulnerable, typically plays pretty good defense. Metcalf is on a bye. That's been what a huge move that ended up being for him. He looks like one of the best receivers in the world right now. So I actually, even though the projections, like I said, are sloppy right now, I think Brigadier is going to win this one.
This is really, really fascinating because, I mean, if say Phil stays hot and stays atop that division, like this game might decide who that fourth team in the playoffs is. 3 division winners and the best second place team. This game might decide who the best second place team is in the league, even at the end of the year. So a lot of ramifications here. I'm excited to see them score and what happens. Patty Mahomes in the early game on Monday night again, and so that'll be exciting. Withers winners against individual one, 7th place against 8th place, but both teams I think are strong enough or in a pretty good position to push for that wild card spot too. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. Withers has got that number 1 scorer in the league right now, Russell Wilson, but he's on a bye this week. However, he does get Aaron Jones back, and if Dalvin Cook's not going to play, he's got Alexander Madison waiting to play. Robert Tonyan, who had the breakout, but everybody's talking about how him and George Kittle are just buddy, and they work out together. And even George Kittle was saying, "Look out for this guy." By the way, did you watch? How much Tuesday Night Football did you watch?
Well, if you're going to talk about A.J. Brown, I watched A.J. Brown. He's awesome.
He had 7 for 82. I could have swore he had 200 yards. Every time I saw they needed a play, he was making a play. and with no Corey Davis, they knew he was getting the ball, and he's still getting open. Yeah, he looked great. So that's a player right there. So Ryan actually has a pretty good team, even though he called himself a paper tiger, and he doesn't have a lot of depth. But man, he's got some home run hitters that just can scare you.
Like Ryan. Here's the thing: I took Boston Scott, Tony Pollard, Benny Snell, for the same reason Ryan took Alexander Madison. Like we're waiting for that stud back to go down, and so we can have those points for those couple of weeks. And good for Ryan, he got that to happen. That's why we make those kind of moves. So I'm a big Madison fan. You guys know me. I used to live in Minnesota, and so I still follow the Vikings. Probably out of all the teams I follow, they're the second most I know about, and they love Madison. And Ryan's got him for a keeper if he wants him. I think he's going to look really good. The pick was amazing if they wouldn't have signed Dalvin Cook, but they signed him. But still, Cook goes down, and here's your chance, man. Show the world what you can do.
Yeah, he's a player.
All of a sudden, Ryan has like depth. I mean, Gaskin's a player too. Madison, he's got Aaron Jones. So Ryan's going to score a lot of points this week.
Yeah. Yep. And then for Seth, getting, like you said, getting Rodgers and Adams back. He's got Devontae Parker against the Jets. That looks like a nice matchup for him. And then a couple of the tougher matchups, he's got like Sanders against Baltimore. He's got Mostert against the Rams. The 49ers look bad. And I mean, I like Mostert as a player, and they seem to really be settled at him as the RB1 for sure. But the Rams are good. The 49ers are trending down. That could be one of those game flow type games where maybe he doesn't get the work that he's accustomed to. So this could go either way. It's a toss up, but I think I give the slight edge to Seth, but I wouldn't be surprised if Withers took it.
I mean, to me, it comes down to who's going to play quarterback for Withers winners. But
yeah, he needs a quarterback too. He has priority over Brigadier's, and I may know who he is picking up already. So
nice. I also am nervous for Seth about the Miles Sanders against the Ravens. So man, Seth's got a really good team.
He does.
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen.
I completely agree. I could see that going either way. I think there's like 3 games that are like toss up this week, and then a couple of just But that's why they play the games on Sunday, John.
Anything can happen on any
and Monday and Tuesday and whatever else.
What else can we talk about here while we have time?
I'm glad that we're doing this every week. It's been a blast. I'm glad that the guys tune in. I'm glad that we're getting the response and the feedback. That's what we do it for. We do it to keep things interesting. Whether you like our assessment or not, you can either be happy, hey, you know what? I like what he said about my team. Or you can get pissed at me and think, that guy doesn't know what he's talking about. And you know what? You may be right either way. But it's just, we call him how we see him. It's a lot of fun. It seems to get some action on the message board, and it's made this year a lot of fun so far. And there's been tense moments and drama, but there's also been a lot more funny things and humor and camaraderie to come out of it. I got to know Dom and Brian better already in a few weeks than I had all last year. So it's been a blast.
For sure. Yeah, there's been like times where I'm like, what are these guys thinking, or why are they saying this, and what's going on? But then like at least we're talking to each other, and because I hang out with my wife, love her, my 2 kids, love them, but I literally don't talk to anybody else. I guess at work, but who wants to talk about work? And so this has been an amazing thing, So it's been really fun.
We kind of have to thank COVID for making Zoom such a thing that it's made this easier. I was willing to travel always, but Beloit to Rockford, especially from my house to your house,
it's a pain.
It's like a 35, almost 40-minute drive. There's no direct way to get there.
Right.
So, that I think that would be too much to do on a weekly basis to do it face to face. So this has been great, and it allows us to have guests on the show. And yeah, it's just been, I'm looking forward to doing this for a long time, and I look forward to seeing your beautiful face every Wednesday night.
Aw, same to you.
I'm growing this out until the Packers lose, and then I'm gonna
Holy
shave.
crap.
Then I'm gonna shave clean.
They play the Bears like around Thanksgiving, right? Maybe. So then you could dust it off then.
All right.
What was I gonna say?
I'll tell an embarrassing story if you want.
Sure.
I trimmed my mustache today with scissors at work because like when it starts growing in too long, I have this tendency to like kind of bite at the hair.
Yeah.
And I accidentally pulled one off, and it kept like sliding back down, and I almost made myself throw up on a mustache hair at work today. I was literally gagging over a trash can.
That's disgusting.
And that's going to be on YouTube for the rest of eternity now. So that was.
Let me say, so here, let me ask you if you're like me. So if you went to my place of work right now, I'm not announcing where my place of work was, and you look at my desk. Yeah, I have a desk. You'd see these papers, and you'd be like, "Oh, John's really like he's really like takes a lot of notes at his work, or he's really studious." I'd say 80% of it is like my fantasy lineup mixed in with like my schedule and my buys and like my matchups. So like, is anyone else in the league like that? Do you guys do that, or am I really, really weird?
I did my notes at work today, but it was slow, so I was able to do that.
Cool. Yeah.
Last week I was not able to. Well, but yeah, I have to think that we all do tinker around with our lineups at work at some point.
I really enjoy the shows that we can do with each other, but also in a different way, I enjoy the shows when we have a guest on. Should we make it a goal to get like everybody in the league at least a shot? Should we try and get some more people on here? What do you think?
I think we should
rehearse this. So this is me putting Mike on the spot.
I think we should, with the least amount of pressure possible, I guess if anybody wants to appear on the show, maybe reach out, and we'd like to have them. Usually Wednesday nights around 10 and when we start filming. And if you'd like to be on the show and like to come on and give your take and either break it down with us or just talk about something at all, you know what I mean? Just get the whatever you want to say, then yeah, we'd love to have you. So yeah, for sure.
So this way we'll weed out and we'll figure out who actually watches to the end of the show. In response to that.
Yeah, the thing's a little different this week.
It is.
The ever-evolving BFL show.
It's true. All right. Well, yeah, hit us up if you'd like us to talk about different topics, or you have any questions or concerns or comments that you'd like to see also. All right.
Click that thumbs up, that like button, that subscribe button, turn on notifications.
Like and subscribe. We'll get sponsored someday, and we can quit our jobs and we have to cut our beards with scissors. All right. Let's wrap things up here.
All right. Everybody stay healthy. Have fun. Good luck.
Good luck. Stay healthy. Happy trading. May the gods be on your side.
The 12 team of gods.
Right. Oh, I stopped something.